You know, as somebody who's played a lot of first-person shooters over the years, I don't think any one of them could have prepared me for what I got myself into with Atomic Heart. We got these weird plants versus zombies, we got these ugly-looking robots, and then the Soviet Union won World War II. Guys, what the hell happened? Now, the only reason why I wanted to play this game was because I wanted to really see what the story was about and what the world was like. You get the point I'm trying to make. I won't talk too much about the story in this review. I'll mostly just go over the combat and the gameplay, so let's dive right in. The question that's probably at the back of your mind, my dear viewer, is, Ivan, is this game fun? Oh yeah, it's fun, alright. The game is incredibly fun when it comes to switching different abilities and different weapons. I mean, it really promotes it. Hey! Are you listening to me? What are you Oh, Jesus Christ, get that crap out of here, man. Gosh, eyes up here. As I was saying, the reason I kept coming back to this game was because of the satisfaction of destroying robots. The game gives you plenty of options to do so. You can shoot them, you can freeze them, you can shock them, you can slam them, you can even do this cool looking thing as well. But you can't really do a lot of these things without your very special hand, your left hand to be specifically. No, not that left hand, this one. His name is Charles. You don't need to know Charles's backstory. The only thing you should know is you're probably going to be spending 99.9% of your time cleaning offices and rooms. I had to clean house so much. I'm not even joking. I've never opened so many drawers and cabinets to collect resources. I mean, I might as well just become a nanny at that point, because seriously, dude, like, holy cow. You collect a lot of crap in this game. You're collecting a whole lot of resources. This is what you're going to be able to use to take to our favorite refrigerator, Nora.
This dominant man really turned me on.
Oh, I'll turn you on, all right. Just let me...
Isn't she just lovely? To then be able to upgrade and craft weapons. You're going to spend a good chunk of your time here, and the game gives you a good variety of weapons to choose from, that being melee to assault, and even some energy weapons to choose from. However, at the beginning of the game, I was not very careful with my resources. I kept using them a lot to craft ammo, and as a result, I got stuck into this infinite loop of lacking resources and not being able to upgrade my weapons. Because of this, I decided to change my approach to use my melee and energy weapons. My primary loadout involved the Sevastosha, if that's how it's even pronounced. I mean, look at this thing. It is so cool. If I had to choose one weapon for this game, it'd probably just be this one because it kills bosses like butter. I don't have to say anything more. The second weapon that I had equipped was a Kalash, good for medium to long distance battles. And pair that up with cartridges, which give you elemental abilities on your weapons, that being incendiary rounds, frost, and shock. You might ask, Ivan, why would you have those equipped if you already have abilities that do that? Well, your abilities are on a cooldown timer, so if you're ever in a pinch in the middle of a boss fight, these are really good substitutes, so highly recommend it. The last weapon that I had was Electro. I know this gun is, you know, a little weak at the beginning and it seems like it's just not doing much damage, but if you upgrade it, dude, it becomes this absolute of a beast. It becomes like a hand cannon basically and destroys robots pretty quickly. So you'll thank me later. Let's talk about abilities. I already mentioned the ones that I used, but the game offers you two more, which is Shield and Polymer Jet. These two, all I can say is just don't worry about them. Just throw them in the trash and forget about them. You should really only focus on Telekinesis and Frost because these abilities are so overpowered. The amount of times that I could just charge my attacks and just kill enemies without them even so much as laying a finger on me, it is just a must-have. It is a no-brainer. The reason I say this is because it was a really fast and easy way to farm resources. In the beginning of the game, I was just using my shotgun like nothing, and I noticed right away that, hey, these robots aren't dropping any ammo. Well, duh, you dummy. They don't have any guns. They're just slamming you and punching you all the time. So, of course, you're going to want to use your abilities on top of your melee weapon or energy gun to be able to farm resources so then you can upgrade weapons later on. That's the beauty about this game, and even with your abilities, you can swap them out whenever you want. So if by the off chance you're one of those people who want to go and use Shield, yes, you can use all the points that you've already used on like Frost or Telekinesis and be able to apply them to that other ability. Same could be said about your weapons. So if you want to trade to a shotgun or something, guess what? Your resources get refunded to you. How awesome is that? It's something that I really enjoyed about this game and was a welcome addition. The open world isn't the most engaging. I felt like it was the most boring open world I've ever been, mainly because it kind of reminded me of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. If you ever just roam around there and it's just zombies just chilling, that's basically this exact same setting. The thing is, though, you do have a car to drive around with. The handling is not so good. I mean, I usually play GTA 5, so that's kind of my standards of driving. And let's just say Atomic Heart doesn't really meet them.
All be over soon. Then you can get some sleep.
Now you're speaking my language, Granny Xena. Mind if I stop by for a cup of tea?
Stop by any time, Sonny.
The thing that I hated the most was when walking around the map, the robots would constantly spawn back. There was no way you can eliminate them in like an outpost or anything like that. They would just continuously come back over and over and over again. And I just felt like, really, Munfish? Like, why did you do this? To me, it was just a big turnoff, and I didn't really want to go anywhere else, only if the story made me. The main reason I'd even want to travel around this map was because of the different weapon attachments you can get in this game that changes the way your gun behaves. And going to these facilities, they're broken down into 3 different tier loots. I know you're thinking about Fortnite, but relax, just hear me out. Let me explain. You got bronze, silver, and gold. Gold being the best one, of course. And what I really enjoyed about visiting these facilities was the puzzles that you'd come across. Like, there were plenty instances where I had to change platforms to be able to traverse across a certain area, or even just moving balls around a tube to make sure that it's like going to the right location. When it comes to the boss fights in this game, they weren't really the most engaging. Well, what I mean by that is they felt very repetitive in nature, mostly because a lot of the enemies used the same special attacks, so many instances I just felt that all I had to do was just jump and dash to be able to avoid them. And it was only really a handful of selected bosses that I felt were really unique and fun to be in. Most specifically, Hedgie, which was this big ball-looking thing that would pull you in with this magnetic pulse, and there wasn't much I can do to escape from it. Those were the moments that I felt like I was on edge, and I just had to really figure out, how can I get away from this guy? How do I jump from his attack? In a lot of cases, I had to use my surrounding environment to then be able to stun him and do some damage. I mean, that was something that I enjoyed, and it wasn't really seen in a whole lot of other bosses. It just kind of felt like I was just shooting them and then using my melee attacks, but not really using the environment, which was sad to see. The second one that really stood out to me was, I think its name was Dewdrop. That's its name. It's this really weird ball-looking thing that comes out of a well, which has a really intimidating look, and most specifically is when it starts to form these little horns on top of itself, because the more damage you do, the more of the shell starts to crack. I just thought it was really unique, and it reminded me a lot of the Omni Droid from Incredibles, only in this case it was a rated R version of it. Now, I know the one thing that you guys have probably been waiting for is the twins. I have to admit, this was probably the most fun boss fight, or more, I should really say funny, because the entire time you are just arguing with your boss as you're fighting against the twins. I'm not even joking. The guy is just sitting on a chair as he's arguing with you, and you're just screaming back at him like, hey, we can work this out, and then your boss is just yelling back with, no, we can't, you're dead to me. Which I thought was pretty hilarious, as I'm trying to avoid all the special attacks from the twins, but either way, they were very similar compared to the rest. And then there's these playish looking things. I really don't know how to pronounce this, let alone even describe them. It's just these really big, weird red goo things that once they grab a hold of you, you have to basically spam the button that the game tells you to do. And I just thought, why is this even in here? It is so annoying. I can't even escape or do anything. I just thought those boss fights were dumb and should completely get rid of. But here's a funny moment that I had. Also, why didn't we get to fight against these worm things? It could have been like a God of War moment right here, fighting against a giant snake or something. Gosh, Munfish, what are you doing? You do get to kill this cool mother plant, though. This is like one of the aspects about Atomic Heart that I'm just like, I have no idea what the hell is going on. On top of all the other wacky stuff, I mean, you got Mario World in this game. Seriously, I think this game would have been a 10 out of 10 if I could shoot a Goomba in this place. And you got this thing. Like, what the hell is this, dude? I feel like its eyeball's gonna open and it's gonna be like Mike Wazowski in like fur style or something. All in all, though, this game is fun. Gameplay, combat-wise, I had a good time and I enjoyed it. My monkey brain was always excited whenever I got resources and I got to meet with Nora again. Just to be able to try out weapons and ability. I'm just happy that you're not tied down to any of these things and you have to force to stick with it for the rest of the game. Story-wise, it's okay. I'll let you decide on that. If you enjoyed listening to me rant the entire time, a like and a sub would be appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.